Hi, I'm Robert Semro, your host for A Moment with an Insider, and I am joined by another great pet expert, someone who is really bringing a new light to a topic that many of us pet parents are just now really starting to get into, and we're really excited to have you on. Dana, thank you so much. Dana Scott from Dogs Naturally magazine.
Thank you so much for having me.
Now, for those who haven't had a chance to see it, share with them what they'll find in your magazine, because it's just phenomenal.
Thank you. There's a lot of natural resources out there for people, and I think what Dogs Naturally magazine does is it embraces natural living as a lifestyle. So I think there's a lot of maybe magazines or TV shows or websites that might say, go ahead and feed your dog, you know, bargain basement kibble and vaccinate him every year, but hey, here's a herb for, you know, to treat his terrible hot spots. We embrace natural living as a lifestyle. So if you do things right from the beginning, if you avoid a lot of toxins and chemicals and feed a really, you know, healthy, whole, fresh, species-appropriate diet, then you're going to find yourself reaching for cures a lot less often. Things are just going to go tickety-boo. It's all got to do with the immune system and making the dog healthy instead of curing disease.
Now, what inspired you to put the magazine together, to bring all these great experts together? I mean, because it's a huge undertaking.
It is a huge undertaking, and honestly, it just happened. Nobody went out looking for this. It evolved. And you're right. I think the problem is there's a lot of Yahoo groups. There's a lot of, you know, there's a lot of chat groups. There's a lot of forums and Facebook groups of people talking about this, but what was important to us is that we get the information presented by experts, and we get it out in mainstream media, and by doing that, yeah, I think it gives a lot more credibility to the material, and it makes it a lot more accessible, I think, for the pet owner. Puts it all in one place, puts pet owners in touch with the leading vets, gives the leading vets a platform to reach more people, and of course we've got the opportunity to put some great products in front of people as well.
Absolutely. And that's one of the things too that I really love about what's going on in the industry is we're seeing a just surge of great new products in this area and arena. And it's exciting for me. It's got to be even that much more exciting for you.
Yeah, I think what makes it exciting for us is that one of the main reasons why Dogs Naturally is here is because other people might not share our sentiment, but we believe that dogs are being overserviced right now by the vaccine industry. We just think that things need to be scaled back a little bit. There's a few too many vaccinations, you know, foods could be a little bit better. And what's happening in the food department is that it's been consumer driven, right? Consumers are driving this change. So what we're trying to do is give the tools to the pet owners so that consumers can drive a little bit of a change in the veterinary industry too, and make holistic veterinary care not only more accessible, but more holistic.
Right.
Because it's in my opinion, it's not as holistic as it could be right now.
Absolutely. Now, for those that you run into, I know you get a lot of emails, I visit your site regularly, a lot of great information. What are some of the top tips that you would give them when they're looking to incorporate this approach into their pets' lives?
Number one would absolutely be avoid unnecessary vaccination. And if you take a good look, a lot of vaccination today is unnecessary. Number two is definitely feeding a species-appropriate diet. Job number one, if you can, is get away from kibble. The next step, if you want to go to a dehydrated or a freeze-dried food, that's okay. But the closer that you can get to natural, whole products without synthetic vitamins and minerals in them, you know, the better off you'll be. And number three, the big one, is just avoiding chemicals and toxins. You know, really question whether that heartworm medication is necessary based on where you live and based on the testing that you could be doing to maybe replace it. I think people just do this without thinking, and it's time to just take a step back and really question what this is doing to our dog's health.
Well, and I think one of the great things that your magazine does is it does educate. Do you think there's a lack of education out there for pet parents, and that's why we've kind of all been programmed into this lack of maybe taking those necessary steps for our pets' animal wellness?
I think the education is there. I think the problem is that it requires a paradigm shift, because there's two ends. There's a conventional medical model, and there's a holistic medical model, and there's everything in between. And that leaves a lot of room for confusion for the pet owner. I think a lot of them want to move to holistic medicine, and the tools I think are there for them to do that, but there's a lot of pressure for them to fall back to conventional medicine all the time. And there's the fear basis too, because a lot of what drives conventional medicine is fear. If you don't vaccinate every year, you're going to get parvo. If you don't do this heartworm test every 6 months, you're going to get heartworm. And that's a motivator for people.
What are some of the simple changes that people can do to start down that healthy path?
Well, they could subscribe to Toxins magazine.
I like that one.
Whatever you do, get yourself in with a holistic veterinarian, and make sure that your holistic veterinarian is actually a holistic veterinarian. There's a difference between calling yourself a holistic vet and actually practicing holistic medicine. So if they're real quick to give a lot of vaccinations very often, or if they're real quick to fall back on maybe antibiotics or that type of thing, take a step back and question maybe if you'd want a second decision and really decide for yourself whether this is where you want to go. Because in the end, it's your animal and you pay the repercussions of whatever decisions that you make, not the vet.
Absolutely. And there are plenty of vets out there. If you don't have good communication with your vet, I stress it all the time, find a different one. Our pets are our family members. If you're not getting the best, don't accept that. So I love that advice. For those who want to get more great information about the magazine, your approach, all the different things that you guys have going on, where can they do that?
They could visit our website at www.dogsnaturallymagazine.com. We've got a great and busy Facebook page. They can hop on there. It's really active. Ask questions, get involved. We don't care if anybody buys a subscription. Just get involved and just take that next step.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's so much great information. I think people will just naturally find their way into that subscription because so much great. And before I let you go, where do you get all these great experts? How are you identifying who really has that expertise?
Well, a lot of them are lecturing at the AHVMA conferences. They've been leaders in their field for quite some time. Basically for us, our criteria are, like I said before, it's not the vets that stand with one foot in each camp. There's nothing wrong with that, but that's not what we're after. What we're all about is 100% full-in holism. And any vets that meet those criteria, we're more than happy to welcome them aboard.
Well, Dana, it's a pleasure to have you here. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it.
Great.